about the Activision Blizzard deal. So Microsoft has responded to the FTC's second request in the Activision Blizzard deal. And it says here, they said they have Microsoft has said they have responded to the FTC's Federal Trade Commission's second request in its planned $69 billion purchase of Activision Blizzard. Microsoft certified substantial compliance with the FTC in regards to Activision several weeks ago. To update on the update on the U.S. antitrust review comes as the near $70 billion deal between Microsoft and Activision is under scrutiny as the UK's antitrust regulatory last week opened an inquiry. So this was something that happened last week as well. And oh, come on, man. What is going on here? Anyways, the UK regulatory antitrust was looking into the deal, which is something that is normal, something that they have to do just because it's such a big deal. Don't think it's going to have any impact on the deal going through or not. And then you have the FTC stuff as well. And they say here, Activision, I mean, this is their stock. The deal had to do with them buying cashing out stocks of Activision Blizzard at $95 per share, indicating some doubt in the market about antitrust approval for the transaction, especially as the US FTC is heavily scrutinizing big tech under the Biden administration. So there's still scrutiny going on with this, but everything we know about this deal so far right now is that 98% approval vote from the shareholders for this deal to go through. The Communication Workers of America, or whatever it's called, that organization, which had a big stink about this deal when it first happened, because obviously they were lobbying for whatever things that they wanted to get done in terms of unions and everything. They went back and they wrote a letter saying that they now approve this deal because Microsoft said that they are going to stay neutral on the employees and what they will want to do if they want to form unions and stuff like that. So they said that they are approving this deal. They've already responded to the second request for this deal. And I think right now there's really nothing that is going to prove or say that this deal isn't going to go through. I don't think there's anything to be worried about. You go through some of the comments on this article, and some people think it may not. Like this person says, I'm having a hard time believing that Lena Khan, knowing her hardline reputation at the FTC as pretty much anti-business, anti-combination, will approve this deal. The unions will see the recent headlines from Oracle that they plan extensive layoffs, which appeared soon after the consumption of the deal with Cerner. Khan has already shot down Lockheed Aerojet. Like I said, I find it hard to believe she is going to be any less tough on Mr. Softy. You do realize we are still a country of laws, and Microsoft will take FTC to court. FTC will lose hands down or on any typical antitrust matter. Anything outside the typical antitrust, such as union and labor issues, will lose too. Antitrust judges are scared to death of creating new precedents for going outside the existing case law. Thank God we are not in China yet, and Genghis Khan has no real power. So, I mean, there's all this like political stuff going on for this deal, but is in my opinion, completely just my opinion. I don't have any, I don't know. I don't know the law. I don't know anything about how all this stuff works. I don't foresee any reason why this wouldn't go through. And this second review, or they've already responded to the second request, which I think means that we are closer to this deal closing than we have before. In fact, Microsoft had come out and said that it's moving along faster than they thought. So maybe potentially this deal closing before the end of 2022 is not out of the question. Maybe it closes in early 2023. I think it's going to be extremely exciting when it does close, because of the fact that I hope they do exactly what they did with Bethesda, where we got just a huge drop of games into Game Pass. The catalog of Activision Blizzard games that they're going to be able to drop into Game Pass, both PC and console, is going to be absolutely nuts. And imagine the announcement that's going to be for that month, or just for that special occasion, that graphic where they show all the games, the amount of insane great titles that we're going to be able to get right away. I hope they do that. If they don't do that, if they don't quickly after the deal closes have an announcement where a bunch of games are coming to Game Pass, I think it's definitely a missed opportunity. Or even if they spread it out a little bit, but at least get Activision Blizzard games in there right away. Like put Call of Duty Vanguard in there right away, put Black Ops in there right away. Those two alone would be massive sellers. Imagine being able to take that, and then even with Modern Warfare 2 out, which I hope eventually will be in Game Pass when the deal closes, marketing Xbox Series S, 120 FPS, and then like just have like graphic like listing all the Call of Duties that are 120 FPS. It'll sell like absolutely crazy. Then there was this article here, and I mean, I'm Canadian. This is all just like American politics stuff, but Senate Leader Schumer met with Microsoft President Brad Smith. So Brad Smith is the one that was saying that the deal, everything is moving on faster than he had expected, and that they're insinuating that the deal may close faster than you think. But he met with Brad Smith to discuss tech's antitrust bills. So I think there's a bunch of new bills that are trying to get voted on, which is why people are talking about this again with the deal, saying that it could affect it. But we'll read through this. Senate Majority Chuck Schumer met with Microsoft President Brad Smith last week while visiting Washington State and discussed bipartisan tech antitrust legislation that Schumer is expected to bring up for vote later this summer. The top Democrat who is in charge of the Senate's agenda discussed policy with Smith, including two bills that are making their way through Congress right now related to increasing big tech competition. So these are the two bills that people are, I guess, worried about a little bit or talking about. And if they become law, the bills discussed during the meeting could force Microsoft and other big tech vendors to change how they operate in consumer and federal markets. So it's bills S2992 and S2710 would restrict the collection and use of internal vendor data and place restrictions on big tech companies related to installing and uninstalling software on their products. Schumer was spotted in Bellevue, Washington last week and is expected to have traveled to the state to meet with tech executives like Smith. So they called on Schumer to disclose dark money or hidden funds that he and other Democrats have received from big tech companies like Microsoft in order to remove the appearance of conflict of interest. And the American Innovation and Choice Online Act would prevent tech giants like Amazon from unduly favoring their own products and their websites or creating cheaper copycats of existing products using internal data. So, okay, so maybe, I don't know if this would have anything to block the deal, but I guess with Activision Blizzard and stuff, you just have a lot of more access to a lot of consumer data, more than you had before with all the people who play their games. Meanwhile, the Open App Markets Act would regulate the management of Apple, Google, and potentially Microsoft's app stores, while advocates say would enable greater competition on the platforms. Okay. So these are the two most significant antitrust bills Schumer supports. Bills which have bipartisan backing are expected to have enough support to pass within Congress and become law if they are brought up for a vote. Legislation can make it more challenging for Microsoft to bundle its software programs like Office, Teams, Drive, cloud services, and others that it sells together and pre-installs to customers and consumers in federal markets. Interesting, because this has, I guess, it doesn't have anything to do with Xbox and video games. I mean, you're buying Game Pass, you're getting cloud gaming, you're getting access to their games, not really bundling anything. I guess they're bundling maybe Xbox Live with it. I don't know. Bill provides big boost to tech critics and anti-monopolists by creating new rules of the road for big tech platforms such as Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. So this is the big thing. It's the anti-monopolists. People still thinking that Xbox buying Activision Blizzard makes them a monopoly in the video game market, which it doesn't. You look at the breakdown of all the studios and everything out there. Clearly not a monopoly. There are huge companies that own way more studios than Microsoft does in terms of gaming. It's not a monopoly whatsoever. But what's interesting is they continue on here, and what they do, I guess kind of contradicts those bills for Microsoft in terms of gaming and this whole entire thing, is that it says here that Microsoft's pending acquisition of Activision Blizzard and related investments in jobs that could be created within the capital region of New York was also discussed during the meeting. And two people said Schumer also pushed Microsoft to invest more in the video game industry of the region when he met with Smith in February of this year. Whatever that means, whatever that means. I don't know if they're saying that because we should be expecting more Activision or more deals for Microsoft within gaming, and they're looking more to it, and maybe this played a role in it, so they're kind of thinking about that, because Microsoft declined to comment on that story. So there's a couple of things here. Creating more jobs in these areas and Microsoft is kind of being advised, I guess, to invest more in the video game industry of that region. Meaning maybe there will be more acquisitions coming in the future. Maybe they are focusing on that. Who knows? I mean, there's all this like stuff with government and corporations and all the shit that goes on between them. And unless the Activision Blizzard deal may have nothing to do with this, but it may mean keep your eyes open for more acquisitions to come down the line in the future by Xbox, by Microsoft, in order to create more jobs in these areas that Schumer was pushing Microsoft to do. I don't know. That's beyond the scope of this channel. But in terms of the Activision Blizzard deal, like, I don't see anything stopping it. These antitrust bills don't really have any, I guess, effect on what Activision Blizzard and Microsoft have. I think maybe the consumer data that Xbox would be receiving from Activision Blizzard may be something that could be brought up with these two bills. The deal itself doesn't make Xbox and Microsoft a monopoly within the video game industry. I just don't see any like real anything where I've read and thought, maybe they have a point on this as to why this deal will not go through. There's nothing there, especially with like the shareholders voting for it to go through and the advocacy groups who were previously against this deal now being for this deal. I just hope that all of this means that like these deals are going to close faster, or this deal is going to close faster than we think. Because right now, June 2023 is the target date for it, right? Which, no problem waiting until then. But let's say, I've always said, like, if they can close this thing sometime, like, let's say like a November closing date. Imagine they closed it before the end of 2022 and God of War is releasing in November. Microsoft comes in, they put out Xbox Game Pass in the first week of November, and they just have all of these like Call of Duty games in it. Somehow Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 in it, and all of these other Activision Blizzard games. It was just like I'd say probably would be a huge competition for God of War, maybe even overshadow it for a lot of people. But we'll wait and see. There's going to be more and more stuff coming out about this deal as we get closer, but it seems like they're moving through the process, already responding to the FTC's second request. So things are looking good for my basic understanding of how this stuff works. And I don't know, nothing seems concerning right now about this deal.